All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the On Your Toes podcast. My name is Peyton Simmons. I'm joined today by Kameron Ruiz. How are you doing today, Cam?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Awesome. Well, Cam is a senior on the bowling and soccer team here at Garrett. So, um, why bowling? Why bowling and soccer? that's the first one I got to ask.
Well, I'll start with bowling. I know growing up, I always wanted to go bowling, and we had never had the time to. And then I was informed after a high school soccer practice, which my brothers were doing, that we had a middle school bowling team.
Mm-hmm.
So my 8th grade year, I joined that, and then ever since then I kind of just grew into it, and now, heck, I'm going to state for bowling. But
Yeah.
soccer has kind of just been a family thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of how soccer was with me because I started when I was like 5, 4. No, it was later than that. I think it was probably 7 or 8. But it was my mom's side of the family were like all big soccer people. So I was like, I'll try it, and got into it a little bit, and then was kind of like, baseball's here. I'm playing baseball.
Yeah.
But yeah. So my first question I have on here, what you kind of just answered, but what got you into bowling? Like, was there anything that really stuck out to you that was like the peak moment of like I want to do this?
I feel like it was kind of just getting into the swing of things.
Yeah.
You know, you really don't know how, or a lot of people don't really know how hard it really is to bowl,
Mhm.
especially when you get into more advanced things.
Yeah,
I
no kidding.
could explain it to you, but you would have no idea what I'm talking about. But
I know. Yeah. But yeah. I mean,
it's kind of like a new challenge that most people aren't expecting, because there's not a lot of people in the bowling world.
yeah,
Like-
yeah. Of course, because like, there's a huge difference between like bowling like at a high level and then like just going to
Yeah.
your local bowling alley and just throwing a ball down a lane.
Yeah.
For
Oh my goodness, there's such a difference.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have that written down here. Like we'll talk about it here in a bit. But so my next one, you talked about it a little bit just a second ago. You said you're going to state for bowling.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be a big difference between me and you. But what do you consider a good and bad game? Because I know for like semi-state, like we're around 200.
Yeah,
like,
I had 597 total
Yeah,
series,
and
which is about a 199 average.
Yeah.
So I bowl in a youth league, which I
Okay.
do every Saturday morning. My average there is around a 190.
Yeah.
So that's what I consider as a good game.
Okay.
I know recently I've had some pretty bad games, which my bad game I consider is like a 140.
Yeah.
But
I see.
So-
Like when I bowl, it's like if I get a 140, I'm like, all right, like I'll take that. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. But like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like when I
And-
say there's such a big difference between like
hmm
bowling just to have fun than bowling at how you bowl. Like,
Yeah, oh my
it's
goodness.
a huge difference.
I mean, I bowl up to 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah, and
It's-
like that's gotta like does that put a toll on your wrist at all or anything like that? Like,
And more, if anything, it puts a toll more on my hand and my shoulder more
yeah,
than anything.
I was gonna say because when I bowl, like it hurts my wrist more than anything. Like I don't really feel it on my shoulder, but I
You
don't
also
know.
play baseball.
Yeah,
so-
I was gonna say I don't know if that's just because I have a stronger shoulder or if it's just like I don't know what it is. Like, but yeah, that's one of the things that always annoys me. Like when I go bowling, even if it's just for like when it's always for fun, but like
Yeah.
if I go for like 3 or 4 games, it's like ooh, I'm starting to feel it tweak a little bit. It's not
Yeah.
the best feeling in the world, but yeah.
And it's kind of crazy that every time I go, I bowl 3 games or even more.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the most I've bowled in a single day is 9
Really?
Yeah.
In one day?
in one day.
How long did that take you?
Well, I was bowling with a bunch of people that I know. I think it
Gotcha.
took us 4.5
I
hours
was gonna say that's got to take a long time, like
Yeah.
9 games. Was
Mhm.
that for a tournament? Or was that just?
just for fun. I think
Gotcha.
I have bowled 9 games in 2 days though for a tournament. Yeah.
Wow. So, how well do you remember that day? That bowling 9 games in one day?
I mean, kind of. I mean, it was relatively recently, so I remember it kind of
So
well.
do you remember like your first game score and then your last game score? Was there much of a difference?
I don't really think so, because for whatever reason, I can start really well, and then I bowl really crappy in the middle, and then I end very well.
Yeah.
I don't know why I do that. I just do.
Just it is how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing though. Like if you can finish strong and leave a good impression, then it's like I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
of course, bowling's not a judge sport or anything
Well,
like that.
yeah.
Like it's whoever knocks over the most pins. But like, if you end feeling well, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I remember one time I was bowling for a league, and I bowled like absolute crap. I was so ticked off.
yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna bowl 3 more games so I make myself feel better before I leave.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like sometimes I do that.
Yeah, like I know my dad, he doesn't bowl, like he bowls in a league, but it's like, it's just going out having a couple drinks and like,
Yeah.
he hasn't done that for a couple years, but like I know a couple years ago, like he won the city tournament or something like that.
Oh
and
yeah.
I was like,
Mhm.
all right, cool. Like at that time I didn't think about it. I was like, I saw the score sheet of it and I was like, there's a lot of people here bowling like what was the highest score I saw? Like, it wasn't his age group, but I saw someone in a 3-game series have like I want to say it was like a 750 or something like that. And I was
for
like,
the adults,
geez.
that's kind of reasonable. Kind
Yeah.
of reasonable to see that at the
Yeah,
top.
and like I was like, man, I don't know how that worked. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just hurts my head.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I know it's on one of the questions, but my highest is 707,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
I think I had a 250, a 240, and a 250 or something of that
Wow.
nature, or
Yeah.
260, 240, 230.
Yeah.
something like
And
that.
you guys, you don't use handicaps, do you? Here. in
No,
high
well,
school?
that's scratch series. But
Yeah.
in high school, no, we do not.
Yeah,
use
I was gonna say
handicap.
I wouldn't think you would, but
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't sure. So, one of the big differences between the two sports you play, bowling, it's a club sport, right?
Correct. Yes.
And then soccer's a varsity sport, so like ran by athletic office. Like,
yeah.
do you notice the difference between the two? Like,
I feel like or fan interest.
yeah,
Like there's, like if you go to a bowling alley, I mean it's packed, but there's
Yeah.
they're also really small.
Yeah.
And there's probably I think we had 45 individual bowlers at sectionals.
okay,
So if you have 45 kids, and then you have 2 people for each kid, that's 90 or 135.
yeah,
In a small compact bowling alley. I know you've probably been in Garrett before.
yeah,
That's a lot of people.
Yeah,
And then, like say, if you go to football night here in Garrett, you'll probably have 350 people there.
yeah. I mean, I was gonna talk about that. Like, I'm sure there's kids in the school that don't even know we have a bowling team. Like,
Yeah.
I'm certain of it. Like,
I mean, heck, I didn't know for years.
yeah, but like I knew. I think it was my sophomore year that I figured it out. Like, for my whole freshman year, I was like, we have a bowling team? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. And then sophomore year came around, I was like, that's kind of cool. I didn't know that.
Mhm,
Like,
yeah.
And I think I figured that out through you being like, oh, like, yeah, I have bowling practice. I'm like, you have a bowling team? Like, when did that happen? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could definitely think of it being kind of like that, how it's like, it's not as big because no one really says anything about it. You know what I mean? Like, even with soccer, like, I know it's not huge, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like you're still gonna talk to people about it. People still hear about it a little bit, but it's not
Mhm.
like, ooh, let's all go to the bowling meet tonight. And it's
Yeah.
like, and you don't hear the same thing about soccer, but
Mhm.
it's like there's still a difference. You
Oh,
know?
yeah. Big difference.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huge. So moving on to my next one, and you talked about it before a little bit. What's your highest single game score, and then your highest 3-game series score?
So, as I mentioned earlier, my highest 3-game score is 707.
Mm-hmm.
And my highest single game is 277,
Jeez.
which is max of 300 if people don't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty solid.
And what's even funnier is I bowled a 277, but it wasn't a part of my 707.
Wow. Really?
Hmm
That's pretty.
I think by 277, I had like a 640, I think.
I would take
just
that.
I just threw the last game away.
Yeah. I would take that.
Oh, yeah.
I would take that on any day of the week.
Yeah,
Like,
I think I had the first 8 strikes, I think.
yeah. I think the highest I've bowled is a 180. Yeah, something like that. And
Give
it's
or
like,
take, yeah.
yeah, it's like I would take that on any given day. Like,
Oh, I think anyone would.
yeah, like that's like I always say if it's above 150, then I'll consider it a good game. Like,
Yeah.
anything below that, it's kind of like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, you can give or take. It depends on what you think of yourself as a bowler.
Yeah.
But like, I know there are people like professional bowlers. I don't get how they are that good at bowling. You know what I mean?
I mean, they've also been bowling for
forever. 10,
15, 30 plus years, depending on how old they are.
Yeah, and it's not one of those sports you can do forever like golf, but like
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can, just not
not
professionally.
at the highest level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you might be a professional for 20, 25 years, and then you kind of drop down. 'cause
Yeah.
As you get older, things get more advanced. You
Mhm.
lose more power because you're obviously getting older. You can't
Yeah.
get as much revs on the ball.
And
but-
I would say it's definitely you can definitely bowl a lot longer than you can most other professional sports.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I mean, it is kind of like golf. I mean, I know I work in the Garrett bowling alley, and
Mhm.
I've seen there's people 70, 80 years old still bowling in
yeah,
there.
and like that's at that point it's kind of like a leisure kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like, you're not really doing it to just.
I
You're
mean-
not really trying to gain anything from it. It's like going out having some fun with some buddies and
Oh,
whatnot.
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a fun thing to do every once in a while. Like, I enjoy doing it as much as I can if I get the chance. Like,
Yeah.
no reason not to. So my next question, in your opinion, who's the greatest athlete of all time?
So That's actually a great question.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I don't have it on here. And I was like, I'm going to keep you on your toes, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you know.
that was your random question.
Yep.
Greatest athlete of all time. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very broad question.
It's a very broad
You got
question.
so many different sports to choose from.
If I were to say one, which I have two very close ones here. If I were to say one, I'd say Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, that's a good answer. He was different though.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I just found this out the other day, but 1 year he averaged 48.5 minutes a game.
did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Man, that's crazy. That's got to be incredibly hard on your body at that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, especially at that time, because like they don't have the kind of technology that we do.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
to like do all this recovery stuff, and it's like they didn't know about that back
Yeah.
then. It was kind of just like, oh, I just played 50 minutes. Go do it again in 2 nights.
Yeah.
And you got to fly across the country.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's like, yeah.
And I'll give you my second. My second would be Jason Belmonte. He's the
The bowler.
best bowler in the world.
He's Australian, isn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah. That's a good answer.
I think he has somewhere close to 30 PBA Tour titles, and he has almost 15 majors, which is most all time.
That's incredible.
And a lot of people don't know, and he's talked about this, but bowling. He thinks bowling is the hardest sport in the world.
It's definitely hard. I mean,
Yeah.
like, if you're a professional, can't do it perfectly every time. Like,
Oh no.
I mean, there are people that are like, you can be really, really good at it, and like you can get it. Like, you don't even have to be really good at it to get a perfect game. Like, you could, like, it probably takes a little bit of luck if you're
Yeah.
not good at it. Like, if you're really good, then you can do it over
Yeah.
and over again. But like, it's like you have to have it down to a science,
Mhm.
almost, kind of.
And I'm trying to remember one of the things he said. Like, you can throw a perfect shot, but if the oil pattern is shifted and you miss the
Yeah,
transition,
that's
you
true.
can go right. You can go right through and get a 6 count and give a split, and then
Yeah, that's true. There's so many different variables that you have to take into
Yeah.
it, where it's like, is this different on this day? Is like,
Yeah.
XYZ kind of sort of deal.
so,
Which,
so say you can bowl in one lane and have this pattern, and then
Mhm.
go on this lane, and it could be completely different.
yeah. Ooh, I just have another question for you that kind of just came to mind.
Go ahead.
How heavy is the ball that you use?
I have 3 15-pounders.
3 15-pounders?
All-
Okay.
I had a 14, and then I've had 4 15-cents.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
The 3 that I use now, they're all 2 of them are Storm, and I think the other one's Columbia 300. But
Okay.
I have a Storm Supernova, and then I have a
Mhm.
Storm High Road, and then I think I have a Columbia 300 Blue Dot.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I go, I don't necessarily look for like an exact weight, but it's like, does it feel kind of heavy?
Yeah.
Like, if there's a number on it, I'll look and be like, yeah, sure. Like, but at the end of the day, I'm kind of just like, I'm just throwing it to throw it.
I know some kids that go in there, they'll grab like a 7-pounder off the rack, and they'll just fire
Oh
it.
yeah, there have been
like,
times where it's like,
What's the point in that?
yeah, I know I went a couple years ago, and like I think it was like, went on a field trip to the bowling alley, and it was like someone just grabbed like a 5-pound ball and threw it in our lane. I was like, I really want to know how hard I could throw it. Like, I don't really want to, but I wanted to figure it out. And at one point, I was like, whatever, did it and threw it. And it was like, it just feels so much different throwing this this really, really light ball compared to this 15-pound
Yeah.
ball, even though it's a 10-pound difference.
I know there's someone that can throw like a 15-pound ball like almost 28 mile an hour.
That'd be horrifying.
It is horrifying. Oh my gosh.
Like that would have to make the loudest sound when it hits the pins.
It does.
Like-
and if you miss the pins and it hits just the back,
Yeah,
it's
that
even
would
worse.
be-
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I could only imagine that. Like,
Yeah.
man, that would hurt my ears.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen it in person because it's a professional. His name is Oscar Palermo. He's from Finland.
Okay.
He's a two-hander, but I think he used to. I don't think he does it anymore. But he used to throw his pairs one-handed, and he's a two-handed bowler.
Really?
So he would literally fire it like, oh my goodness gracious, it was crazy.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think of someone being like a two-handed bowler and being like, all right, now I gotta do this, throw it one hand.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm sure that he's got his reasons. Like,
Yeah.
if he's,
I think he does it two-handed now. I don't think he's been on TV for a while, but
Yeah.
I think one time he did switch to two-handed spare shooting. So
yeah. I mean, why not? If it works, it works.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't
He's-
fix it.
he's also getting older in age, so I don't think
Yeah.
he wants to throw a bowling ball 28 mile an hour down a lane when he's 45.
Yeah, mess up your shoulder even more.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, so I got one more for you, and we've talked about it quite a bit. What's the biggest difference when you bowl with your friends and like this weekend at semi-state or at state? Sorry.
I feel like state I'm more focused.
Yeah.
Like during youth league, I'll bowl with some guys that I've been bowling with for 3 or 4 plus years, and obviously I'll be joking around with them. Well, do this and that. I mean, I don't really care about my score half the time. But then when I go to state, I am all focused.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my eye on the lane the entire
There's
time.
no mess around. It's
No.
I gotta have a good score. Yeah.
And just to say something, I'll probably need a 700 at least to make top 4.
Really.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
heck,
how many bowlers are there? Is it the top?
27.
Top 27.
27 guys, and then 18 girls will be there.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I can't even think about that. Like,
Yeah. I can't think about it either. Don't worry.
yeah.
If you would have told me at the beginning of this season that I was going to be a state bowler, I would have called you crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm like,
hey, congratulations on it. It's a
Yeah,
big
thank you.
accomplishment. Yeah.
yeah,
I
it
mean,
really is.
I mean, like, do you know how many state bowlers there have been in Garrett history? Like,
I think I might be the first, maybe second.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Because I
mean,
asked the owner of the bowling alley, he would know because he used to coach, and he said he thinks there was one, but he couldn't remember who.
Yeah.
So,
man, that's a big accomplishment. Though.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, for the sake of this, we're gonna say you're the first one.
yeah.
'Cause just throw it out there, because why not? But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's all I've got. If you want to keep talking or just throw anything out there that you want to ask, if you have any questions for me or anything.
I mean, to finish off, I mean, you should really try and give bowling a try. I know
Yeah.
you can go in there and just have fun, but go to your local bowling alley, go to the league, just have fun with them. You know, there's people that are always willing to invite you in and join leagues. I know, at least at Garrett, we have a Tuesday night ladies league, we have a Wednesday night mixed. And these are both adult leagues, and then every other Sunday we have adult youth leagues,
Nice. Yeah.
and then Saturday morning is our youth league. So, yeah.
So give it a try if you want to.
Oh, yeah,
There's-
most
there's
definitely.
no reason not to.
I mean, it's not like you're bowling for money or anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. You're
just
you're
there to have fun.
Going
really.
out to have fun. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Make some new friends in the process.
Yeah, have a couple drinks in the process if you can.
Well, not with the youth leagues.
yeah, not with. Yeah. You can't be doing that. Can't
Get a
promote
few
that.
waters. How about that?
Yeah, there we go. A couple Cokes if you want.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's all I've got. So
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
good.
awesome. Thank you, and
Yeah.
good luck at state this weekend.
Thank you.
Yep, of course. See ya.
See ya.